Why don't you touch your neighbor? Tell him I'll be a witness for the Lord. What about you? While you're standing, let us pray. Father, in the name of Jesus, Lord, we thank you for another night, golden opportunity to come in your presence. Pray you for delivery of this congregation to this house of worship. I praise us, oh God, that praise you that you will give us the anointing that destroys every yoke. And touch your people like that. Now the word of God go forth. You stand and be the breach, the repairer of the breach, one that stands in the gap. Pray that you use us to build up a hedge as you anoint us with your word. In the name of Jesus. Amen. You may be seated. And verse 20. All right. Read.
Matthew 9 and verse 20. And behold, a woman which was diseased with an issue of blood 12 years came behind him and touched the hem of his garment.
Now, we're very familiar with the story, so we won't spend a lot of time on the details there. She only wanted to touch the hem of his garment, the border of his garment. Read.
For she said within herself, if I may but touch his garment, I shall be whole.
He said, if I could just touch his garment. Knowing that it is his garment, I know I'd be made whole. Read.
But Jesus turned him about, and when he saw her, he said, Daughter, be of good comfort. Thy faith hath made thee whole. And the woman was made whole from that hour.
Somebody say amen. Amen. Another verse is a scripture, cross-reference in Mark, the 5th chapter, and 25th verse. We'll find another a little different version of the same incident. Mark 5 and verse 25. Read quick.
Mark 5 and verse 25. And a certain woman which had an issue of blood 12 years, and had suffered many things of many physicians.
He'd been to a lot of physicians, you find out in this part. He'd been to many doctors. And
had spent all that she had.
All the money was spent.
And was nothing better, but rather grew worse.
Got worse instead of getting better. Read.
When she had heard of Jesus, came in the press behind and touched his garment.
Now she had a determination, and we often use the scripture to teach about pressing your way through. Through your trials as well as through your sickness, pressing, pushing, striving forward. She did that because she had a determined mind to touch the hem of his garment. Read.
For she said, if I may touch but his clothes, I shall be whole.
I know I'll be whole. Read.
And straightway the fountain of her blood was dried up, and she felt in her body that she was healed of that plague.
Now, straight away, she was healed. Now that verse that really goes in a little further detail is Luke 8 and 42. Read Luke 8 and verse 42. Read.
Luke 8 and verse 42. And as he was yet a coming, the devil threw him down and tear him, I'm sorry, 8 and 42.
Okay, read 43.
Luke 8 and 43. And a woman having an issue of blood 12 years, which has spent all her living upon physicians, neither could be healed of any.
Read.
Came behind him and touched the border.
Now this part says it's not only a hem, as seen, we see a hem as where a garment is folded and sewn up, right? But this goes into a little further detail. Now, oftentimes, you see Pastor Hamilton with a beautiful clothes that she wears. She don't wear some beautiful clothes. Sometimes you see the end of her skirt, a border about that long. You ever notice that? Now there's a difference between the hem and the border. The border can be wider. The hem is the very end part. Now, this gives us a further definition according to the revelation of God to me. In the border of a Jewish garment are certain insignia to describe who that person is, what family he's from, what tribe he's from, where he comes from, and what status he is. Whether he's a great man or just a little nobody, as Gideon described himself. Remember, Gideon said, my family is the least of all the families in my tribe. You remember Gideon? And God said, you are a mighty man of valor. Well, his border would have had them as a little tribe with no significance. Are you with me? But in David's tribe, after he became king and did wonderful feats, his border would have insignia signifying that he was a mighty warrior, deliverer of the people, and king over Israel. All that would be spelled out in Jewish writing in the border of his garment. So if his garment was ever found, it could easily identify whose garment it was. Say amen. Whether on the battlefield or going through by an ox in the field, if they didn't know who he was, they would go immediately to the garment and they would know this is the son of Jesse, of the tribe of Judah, from Bethlehem. Say amen. So now, the hem of the garment and the border of the garment have different meaning. One part is expanded upon the other. The border is what is significant. Say amen. Yeah. Now, touched the border of his garment, and immediately she was healed, her blood was staunched. And I said, amen. Now let's do a little history. Let's go to Genesis chapter number 38 and 15. Praise God. Moving right along. Right, Pastor read.
Genesis chapter 38 and verse 15. When Judah saw her, he thought her to be an harlot, because she had covered her face.
All right, hold it right there. Now, let's get into history. This is the story of Tamar. Tamar was the daughter-in-law of Judah. Judah, that Judah, who was the brother of the rest of the brethren in Israel. It's Judah was one of the sons of Jacob. Say amen. Amen. And Judah, back to verse number 1, went back in his travel. He had been prosperous in the sheep farming business. So as he became very wealthy, he became very well known. And the people around him admired him. In verse number 1, it says that when it was time, Judah left the others of his brethren and turned into a certain Adulamite, whose name was Hiram. Say amen. That means Judah went among the Gentiles and turned in unto them. And Judah saw there a daughter of a certain Canaanite, whose name was Shua. And he took her and went in unto her. Say amen. Amen. All right. That's a little history about him. We know that he had a son whose name was Er. And Er died. According to verse number 6, he did wickedly and God slew him. And so Judah said unto Onan, go in to your brother's wife and marry her and raise up seed to thy brother. That was the tradition among the Jews at that time. But verse 9, this is noted, Onan didn't want to do that. He knew that the seed would not be his. So it came to pass when he went in unto his brother's wife that he spilled the seed on the ground so that it would not impregnate his brother's wife to raise up seed unto them. So his brother's wife would not have children to have an inheritance among the children of Israel. So this thing he did displeased God, and God slew him. Verse 10. Verse 11. Then said Judah to Tamar, his daughter-in-law, by Er, remain a widow and stay at your father's house until my youngest son Shua be grown. For he said, at least perhaps he died also, and his brethren did. So Tamar went and dwelt back at her father's house and waited for this young lad, Shua. Are you following my story? Amen. I want to let you know that in the process of time, read verse 12.
And in process of time, the daughter of Shua, Judah's wife, died. And Judah was comforted and went up unto his sheep shearers to Timnah, he and his friend Harath, the Adulamite.
All right, in the process of time, the daughter of Shua, Judah's wife, died. He went up to his sheep to be comforted. And he turned in to see his friend Hiram, the Adulamite. All right? Now here's something strategic that's about to happen. this woman, Tamar, is waiting for his son to get old enough so she could have a baby by him. Amen? Amen. Are you with me? Amen. And that would enable him to do what? Raise up seed to his brother and give her an inheritance among the family. Now his time has passed, and Judah is mourning the loss of a wife. And he goes down to comfort himself. Anytime he had a shearing of sheep, that was a happy time. Much money is going to be made. They're going to be drinking wine and being thirsty. He thought this would help him get rid of the thoughts about his wife's death. So he went to visit his friend that he was used to doing this with every year. He used to shearing sheep every year, or every so often. And watch what happened. He done forgot all about his daughter-in-law and the promise he made to let her have his youngest son. Verse 13.
And it was told Tamar, saying, Behold, thy father-in-law goeth up to Timnah to shear his sheep.
Now, Tamar been waiting for his son to get older. She now sees that he is older, and she hears that he's going to come passing her way. Remember now, she is a widow. She's alone. Long journeys are not good for single women, or they had to travel by animal. So she took advantage of this opportunity that her father-in-law was going to come pass her way. And she got up and got ready to go meet him and remind him of his promise. Amen? Read on.
And she put her widow's garment off from her, and covered her with a veil, and wrapped herself, and sat in an open place, which is by the way to Timnah, for she saw that Shelah was grown, and she was not given unto him to wife.
She saw that Shelah was grown, and Judah made the promise, but he's not keeping. So she came up with a scheme. She put off her widow's garment, it means that she put off her dark clothing and a dark veil that showed that you were a widow in mourning. All those years, she had been a widow in mourning. But now, it's time for her to see about getting the promise. Say amen. So she put on gay clothing, what they would call cheerful clothing, joyous looking clothing, the garment of a harlot, made herself look like a prostitute. She had a plan. Watch what happened. Something very exciting to turn the tide for her. Read.
When Judah saw her, he thought her to be an harlot.
That's because that's how she was dressed. That's why we teach about sanctification of the outer man. Because how you look gives a person the first impression of what you are. He saw her dressed like a harlot, so he thought she was a prostitute. Read.
Because she had covered her face. And he turned unto her by the way and said, Go to, I pray thee, let me come in unto thee, for he knew not that she was his daughter-in-law. And she said, what would thou give me that thou mayest come in unto me?
Very important right here that you get this. She was asked, said, go to a common. Let's make a deal. What would you give me if I would come sleep with you, lay with you? He said, he didn't know that she was his daughter-in-law. He said, let me come in unto thee. In other words, now you're a prostitute, you got to work out the arrangements, right? Somebody say the arrangement. What is going to be the price if he is allowed to come in unto her? See, a price must be paid for the deal to be valid. Say amen. And so she said, well, what will you give me? In other words, what do you have of value? You want to know what the price will be? What do you have to give me? Read.
And he said, I will send thee a kid from the flock. And she said, wilt thou give me a pledge till thy send it?
Now, he was going up to the rich man's country where they were going to be shearing sheep. And to give somebody a whole-grown sheep was very valuable. He said, I will give you one of the sheep, or a kid sheep, which means a young sheep. And that will pay the price. But I have to give it to you when I come back. Now, prostitutes are not crazy. They are sinners, but they are shrewd business people. Say amen. Amen. Remember Rahab the harlot? He was shrewd. She said, I will hide you in my house, but you must promise to spare me and my family. Amen. He's thinking about the future. This one here, she said, if you'll give me something as a pledge to hold until I hear you return, how I know that you might not go and don't come back. I would have sold my goods, her body, and didn't have nothing in return. So Judah recognized that she's a prostitute. She's trying to make sure she get her money. So let me make a deal with her. Let me give her a pledge. A pledge means I'll give you something to hold until I get back with your payment. But this something to hold has got to be something valuable. Amen. It's got to be something that is your identifying mark. Say amen. Amen. And that's what's important. And it's a valuable piece, and it's this identifying mark. Watch what she said. Read.
And he said, what pledge shall I give thee? And she said, thy signet, and thy bracelet, and thy staff that is in thine hand. And he gave it her, and came in unto her, and she conceived by him.
He said, give me your bracelet. Now that is the mark of who you are, that you wear around your arm. It didn't have to be metal. It could be a woven cloth. I can see some of these children wear these cloth dresses. It could be a piece of metal. But it identifies who you are and what tribe you're in. Then she said, give me your signet. Now your signet will have your tribe's insignia. The tribe of Judah had the insignia of a lion. So this could be worn around their animal, their camel, or their donkey, or it could be worn around their neck. It identifies exactly who they are. From the lion tribe, which is the tribe of Judah. And it is the family of Judah. Jesus went, and a woman touched the hem of his garment. She's believing that if he touched her, she'll be made whole. Putting him on the spot, isn't it? His honor is at stake. Come on, somebody. If he don't heal her, his name will go down. He don't heal her, his authority is not authentic. He don't heal her, then his rank as being the Messiah cannot be true. But if he healed her, he is the Messiah. He does have power, and he does have rank, and he's got full authority. Somebody said, I got to touch him. Because I know he's the Messiah. She couldn't be found. Watch what she did. Read.
And Judah said, let her take it to her, lest we be shamed. Behold, I sent this kid, and thou hast not found her.
All right. And let her have it. So I don't bring myself to shame, I'm not going to go looking for her. Are y'all listening to me? I'm going to leave it at that. Read.
And it came to pass about 3 months after that it was told Judah, saying, Tamar, thy daughter-in-law, hath played the harlot, and also, behold, she is with child by whoredom. And Judah said, bring her forth, and let her be burnt.
Did you get it? Judah heard that Tamar was pregnant from playing around with sin. And she done played the whore. And back in that day, when a woman had sex and wasn't married, they burned her and the man. Are you listening? So Judah, not knowing that this was the same woman he went in unto, said, bring her here and let's burn her. That's why it was important when Jesus told the woman caught in the act of adultery. It's important. Where is the man?
Yes.
Say amen. So he had to forgive her because this woman that was caught in adultery could have been with one of these men that are accusing her. Are y'all listening? So this woman, they called for her. She came forth. Judah said, we're going to burn you. And the woman did what?
When she was brought forth, she sent to her father-in-law, saying, by the man whose these are, am I with child. And she said, discern, I pray thee, whose are these, the signet, the bracelet, and staff.
My.
Amen.
Amazing, isn't it? She said, I'm pregnant by a man whose signet and bracelet and staff this is. And everybody could read the writing on the wall. They knew that this was Judas' staff. He done made it public now. They know that it's his bracelet and his shepherd's staff. Now, she has proof of her innocence because she's got his authority, his power, his name, and his rank. Now, what can he do now? Read.
And Judah acknowledged them and said, she hath been more righteous than I, because that I gave her not to Shelah, my son, and he knew her again no more.
He let her go. She had full proof of his identity. This woman that had the issue of blood, she recognized that in the border of Jesus' garden was his name. She believed that he was in the high rank of authority of the Messiah. He believed that he was the Messiah that was promised to come, that would heal the sick and raise the dead. And when she said it in her heart, she got down on her knees because she was fully persuaded that he had the authority, he had the power, and he had the rank to raise her up and make her whole. Do you believe it tonight? Amen. Do you believe it tonight? If you believe it, stand up on your feet. What she was saying is, Lord, you said that you were going to reward me with your son. But the woman with the issue of blood was saying, Lord, you said you were going to heal the sick. Isaiah 53 and 5, wounded for our transgression, bruised for our iniquity. That means the chastisement upon him, of our peace was upon him, and with his stripes we were. That's the promise, right? You got something that's holding to it. It's in his identity. It's in his insignia. It's in his authority. It is in his honor and in his name. If he don't do it, then he will mess up his honor. You are guaranteed to be healed when you believe that with all your heart. Come up here if you believe it tonight, as though you're coming to touch the authority, the rank, and the power that's in his name. Come quickly, that you may be healed. You may be delivered, and you may be set free. Now, Hagar knew that she had full proof, right? Where was the proof? In the border of his God. His identity was where? In the border of his God. His power and his authority was where? Come on.